Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is Wacky and Weird Wednesday, which means we've got some weird stories about people, animals, and just general earthly existence. It's all here for you so we can have a laugh at our reality. You know, a little laugh at the reality we live in. This is the first and only international game show, Before Coffee, a father and daughter news podcast where we look up our stories right before we started. We just got caffeine in our bodies and we're learning to read and speak live on stream. Let's get into those wacky headlines and spin that segue wheel. Today on Wacky and Weird Wednesday. Australian designer Katy Perry wins trademark case against pop star Katy Perry in High Court. Plus, the 9 wildest things found in an unclaimed luggage in 2025 ranked.
And greetings for Weird Wednesday from the United States, where we have weed was accidentally donated to a New Zealand charity shop, and everybody's high now. And a Finnish duo wins the UK wife carrying race.
One could say they finished first. 23 red cards and police interventions as mass brawl marks end of title match in football in Brazil. Plus, hockey game ends early after 20 fighting majors, nearly 600 penalty minutes handed out.
Woo! That sounds like a fun game. And in one more weird news story for today, a Fargo, North Dakota man bought a house and found family history buried in the floorboards.
In my culture news, woman charged with attempted murder after Rihanna home shooting. Plus, long-lost George Michael film and live album set for release later this year.
And it's National Worship of Tools Day. And luckily for us in the United States, we have the biggest tool in history sitting in the White House on March 11th, 2026, on Before Coffee.
Everyone
Don't even
loves
appreciate
the
them.
toolbox.
Worship them.
Yeah, everyone loves a good
Build
toolbox. Build a temple.
Let's all pay homage to the Phillips screwdriver.
I like a flathead myself. You can use it to open paint cans. You can use it to, you know,
What do you call
like...
it, a flathead? Yeah, you get a dime for that. You can replace a flathead with a dime. That's not even that tool anymore. You can.
Yeah, but it's
Phillips
sharper than a
screwdriver.
dime. You can use it to, like, scratch stuff off.
Sure, why not?
Okay.
The
Well,
irreplaceable Phillips screwdriver. We can have this debate for the rest of the year. Let's just keep doing that debate.
let us know down below what your
Call me a
favorite tool in the
flathead.
toolbox
Hey,
is.
I can't help the shape of my head. Call me a flathead.
The pack wrench. Okay. Let's roll our first segue with our first stories. Where are you, my segue wheel? There you are. Roll away. Wish there was a way to make this always on top. The monkey
What do we
wrench
get?
is a good
What
one
do we
too.
spend?
Reminds me of a song. That reminds me of Monkey
Okay.
Wrench by the Foo Fighters.
I forgot that song. Okay.
Okay, let's go to our first stories today, which is coming out of Australia by Elizabeth Byrne and Nikki Burnside on ABC Australia. Australian fashion designer Katy Perry, spelled Katie, Perry, has won her high court battle with international pop star Katy, spelled Katy, Perry, in a long-running trademark case. The dispute over the name began in 2009 when the singer was preparing for her Hello Katy Australian tour. But it wasn't until 2019 that the case gained momentum when the designer took to the singer to federal court saying her trademark had been infringed by a sale of the singer's branded clothes, shoes, and headwear. Oh, so the designer is the one who brought up the the copyright decision. Okay. In a major decision, the High Court today found the designer's mark was not likely to harm the singer's reputation or cause confusion and was not in breach of the trademark laws. So she lost her case. The case was about who has the right to sell clothes bearing the Katy Perry or Katy Perry name. Either the IE or the Y, basically. Katy Perry, the singer, was born Catherine Elizabeth Hudson, but adopted the stage name in about 2001. Katy Perry, the designer, was born with the name, but changed other names, including Katie Taylor. The court heard that the designer did not know about the singer when she first sought the trademark. Well, yeah, that could be possible. Although by the time it was registered, she had become aware of her after hearing the song I Kissed a Girl. Katy Perry, the singer, was taken to federal court in 2019, saying her trademark had been infringed. She won in the first instance but lost the appeal. The federal court appeal ruling was particularly harsh, with the judges finding not only that Katy Perry, the singer, had established a reputation in Australia before the clothing brand was established, but also that Katy Perry, the designer, was liable to be cancelled for infringing on the Katy Perry, the singer's copyright trademark. That's because under the law, registration of a trademark can be opposed if another similar trademark has already acquired a reputation. So not that Katy Perry, the singer, went to Australia and said, make sure to trademark my name, but she was already famous enough by the time Katy Perry, the designer, trademarked the name that it could have been seen as in a way, false advertising, right? Because you're trying to gain trend over the name. It can be, it's been seen as using their reputation and also confusing or deceptive. The singer's lawyers told the High Court that Katy Perry's stage name could not be divorced from the reputation of the name when it came to marketing. But Katy Perry, the designer, said her actions were innocent, that she adopted the trademark for clothes first and applied to register the name before she had heard of the singer. Her lawyers argued that she had used the brand name for a decade without any confusion. In a majority decision today, the High Court found that the use of the designer's mark on clothing was unlikely to deceive or cause confusion given the singer's reputation in Australia and was not in the breach of the law. In the judgment, Justice Simon Stewart pointed to documents showing that Katy Perry's manager, Stephen Jensen, became aware of the Katy Perry trademark in 2009. She had traded under the name of Katy Perry since 2007, Mr. Jensen wrote in an email to the singer. Of course, this issue had been blown away out of proportion as you have not tried to keep her from trading under a name. We've certainly not sued her for the trademark infringement. Later in the correspondence, Mr. Jensen expressed interest in including something from Katy Perry in a media statement about the matter. As is common in Australia, the tabloids have picked this up and made it into a story, in quotations. We are arranging some publicity, probably a press release, to clarify the situation. Want to have this in place by the end of the business tomorrow. We'll keep you posted on we'll probably want to include a statement from you. We're on it. In a response to Mr. Jensen, Katy Perry asked not to be included in the release. I say keep me out of it entirely, she wrote. Make it less important, but release something from management. Pretty much stating the facts. Don't soften it up. Don't apologize. Nothing. Let me know what's going out before it does, please. Is this a quote from her? Stupid bitches, I wouldn't have bothered with this if MTV hadn't picked up this silliness. Dumb bitch, rawr. That's a real quote. That's a real quote. I think from Katy Perry, the singer. She said rawr in a text message in 2025.
Not exactly a Mensa member, 2026. She is, right? It's not exactly... Yeah.
I'd say raw ironically, but okay. Today, Justice Stewart said Mr. Jensen had incorrectly stated that the respondents had done nothing to stop the registration of the appellant's mark. First, in May 2009, the American artist filed a notice of opposition to the registration of the appellant's mark out of time, with an application for an extension of the time to file that notice, Justice Stewart said. Second, also in May 2009, the appellant received a cease and desist letter from Australian trademark attorneys acting for the American artist. Justice Stewart described Katy Perry's outfit as self-funded small business. Katy Perry, the designer, is a self-funded small business. In contrast, the American artist's fame grew rapidly, he said. So did her business as a singer. In August 2009, she toured Australia again and sold Katy Perry branded apparel and merchandise at her concerts. This was done in full knowledge of the fact of the appellant's registered trademark. Justice Stewart noted that Mr. Jensen had written to Katy Perry, the singer, expressing the view that the public would not confuse your Katy Perry branded tour merchandise with this lady's clothes. Indeed, he gave evidence of trial that since then he had not become aware of any cases of confusion, Justice Stewart said. Justice Stewart described the actions of Katy Perry, the singer's representatives, as those of a persistent and insidious infringer of the appellant's validity, registered at Katy Perry Mark, the designer. Costs have been awarded to Katy Perry, the designer's favor. So, I think, yeah, she won. The designer won. She got a payout.
Yeah,
good for her. I'm sure Katy Perry has plenty of money.
Perry made up her name. She got her name off some luggage somewhere. Isn't her name anyway?
Yeah, Katie. Her name should be Katie Hudson, but I guess Hudson is also too familiar, right? There's another famous Hudson out there.
Wait, Kate Hudson, who is the daughter
Kate Hudson, exactly.
Goldie Hawn. Goldie Hawn's daughter, who's probably going to win an Oscar. I started watching that movie she's in, by the way, the Song Sung Blue. It's on, I think it's on TV. You can watch it on, I think, Peacock, like the NBC
Really? Okay.
app. Anyway, I started watching it. It's about a guy in Wisconsin who becomes like a Neil Diamond tribute band. Pretty cool. With the guy from, whatchamacallit? Wolverine. What's his name?
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Another Australian, funnily enough.
I can't think of his name. For some reason, I can never think of his name.
Don't look at me. I can't. I'm very bad at name recall.
I'll think of it in a minute. Anyway, it's...
while you're thinking of his name, give us a song that reminded you of. I guess it was about a singer.
It doesn't necessarily remind me of a song. It reminds me more of a band than a song. So the song it reminds me of, and I'll just pick one of the Blue Oyster Cult songs called "Joan Collins Has Risen from the Grave," which features a celebrity, and of course, one of the members of Blue Oyster Cult, one of the recent members, is Tommy Hilfiger's brother Andy. Of course, Tommy Hilfiger, a famous designer, and his brother,
that's crazy.
His brother Andy is in the band,
Hugh
and
Jackman,
he is also
Omlin
a designer,
says, by the way.
What's that?
Hugh Jackman. Almonds got
Hugh
us.
Jackman, there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, Hugh Jackman's Song Sung Blue. I started watching that. It looks pretty good. Looks like a pretty good show.
That's a crazy coincidence, all these connections, yeah.
Yeah, I saw his interview with Charlie Barons, the guy, the Wisconsin guy. He does a pretty good interview with Hugh Jackman. Anyway, there's your stupid song. Joan Collins has risen from the grave, which was probably written before Andy Hilfiger was in the band, but it just reminded me.
That's crazy,
Andy Hilfiger.
Is he related to Tommy? He is related to Tommy. That's crazy.
They're brothers. They're full brothers. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, next story. That is so interesting. Yeah, I was not expecting all of that information about. What a coincidence. Our next story. It's a song. It reminded you of a song. This is by Ashley Fike on Vice. In 2025, the Unclaimed Luggage Report offers a great little inventory of human impulse, bad judgment, and rich person nonsense. Reminder that a lot of times on Wacky and Weird Wednesday, we have to cover smuggling news. Somebody tried to smuggle a snake in their pants, and they failed. But this time, it's all about the stuff that people just leave behind at the airport. They never reclaim it. It gets lost, and nobody can ever find it. Who knows what happens, right? And that's why it's important to put your address. Yeah.
It's gonna be all sex toys.
Flying with checked luggage always involves a tiny act of faith. You hand a stranger your belongings, watch them disappear on a belt, and trust that your suitcase won't take on a second life in Alabama. Thankfully, most bags do make it back. Unclaimed Baggage says over 99.9% of checked luggage is reunited with its owner, leaving a sliver of orphan bags to wind up at its Scottsboro store. With that being said, the 2025 Found Report offers a great little inventory of human impulse, bad judgment, and rich person nonsense. Brian Owens, the company's owner, said in a press release that every year they think they've seen it all. Then they find a matching set of samurai swords, a fully assembled robot, a Dolce & Gabbana jewel jacket, or a gold-plated golf club. So basically, this is a business. They didn't give me the name of the business, but this is a business who buys unclaimed baggage and then
there's
sells
a store in Atlanta.
stuff. Yeah, but this is in
Scottsboro. In Atlanta, you just buy stuff people left behind. Yeah.
I don't know where in Scottsboro. I don't know which Scottsboro is. It must be Scottsboro, Alabama. because they mentioned all
That
of that
sounds like
Alabama.
something.
Yeah, it's Scottsboro, Alabama.
That sounds like.
Your suitcase because
Huh.
they said in the previous paragraph, your suitcase will take on a second life in Alabama. So Scottsboro, Alabama is where this store buys unclaimed baggage and then resells what they find. Here are the 9 craziest items they found in 2025. Speaking of the first thing they said, matching samurai swords. A matching set of samurai swords is such a committed packing choice that forgetting them somehow feels even crazier than bringing them. Yeah, it's very hard to get weapons on a plane. To be fair, this is checked baggage, but still, you know. A suitcase filled with rat poison. This was listed among the report's weirdest finds, and honestly, no punch-up needed. A suitcase full of rat poison speaks for itself. Like, why did you need that much rat poison? What is going on? A meteorite. A meteorite feels like one of the last things you'd casually misplace, yet someone managed to lose track of literal outer space. Number 4, a bionic knee. It's one of those things to lose. It's one thing to lose a phone charger. It's another to leave behind a bionic knee and never try to track it down. Yeah, I mean, somebody out there only has one leg now. And they probably replaced it since then. A beekeeping suit. Stands out because it's so specific. Nobody packs one by accident, and somehow this one just got left behind. Number 6, a fully assembled robot. Not robot parts, not a kit. A fully assembled robot. Plenty of people can't get to the airport with both AirPods, but somebody managed to get a robot into their checked luggage. 7, a gold-plated golf club. Person packed gold-plated golf clubs, checked the bag, and then failed to reclaim it, which is an incredible sequence of choices. Maybe it's like they got it as a gift from somebody they hated, and they're like, I'm not gonna. It's fine, it's lost forever. The report's top historical find was a U.S. Air Force A2 leather flight jacket. This one probably stings a little for someone. It sounds like a family history lost between terminals. Ooh, yeah, that sounds really, really like a shame to lose. Number 9 was
too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, they're selling it, so it definitely has value. A 1900s candlestick telephone. The top tech find was a Kellogg candlestick telephone from the early 1900s, which means somebody traveled with an antique communications equipment and then just moved on with life. That's the beauty of
Unclaimed
Unclaimed
got a time
luggage.
machine. They got stuck in time. That's what it is. They're in a time warp somewhere, and they just left their phone behind at the airport.
Exposes people at their most sincere and least curated. Some travelers pack socks and Advil. Others bring samurai swords and a meteorite, a robot, and then somehow they miss baggage claim. So hopefully some new owners can enjoy these new items. So I guess if you find yourself near Alabama, I don't know if you find yourself in Alabama, stop by Scottsboro and see what cool stuff you can find at the unclaimed baggage store, where they just buy whatever's left behind at the airports. And that was a short story, but some wacky items.
A song it reminds me of is Travelin' Man by Rick Nelson. And I changed the lyrics. I'm a traveling man. I check all my bags with swords, rat poison, and detachable joints. They don't make it through all the checkpoints. There you go. Anyway.
Nice rhyme.
I had to change some lyrics, but yeah, there's not a whole lot of songs about lost baggage. Shout out to Ricky Nelson. Anyway.
Thanks. I was born a baggage claim, yeah.
That was our Luggage Carousel 6. Anyway.
Oh, that would be terrible. I left my baby at the baggage claim.
I was trying to do Jumpin' Jack Flash. I was born in a luggage carousel at the airport.
Somebody, she's giving birth. Hurry, put her on the carousel. Okay, that will help. The movement will help, you know.
Do you have a claim tag for that baby? Anyway, I just.
Let's roll our next segue before we just keep on telling bad jokes.
Stupid news from stupidity land. In the age of stupid. Okay.
Hypothetical.
Let's have a spin. Okay.
Take it away. I'm gonna get some water, but I can still hear you because I have Bluetooth headphones.
Okay, let's do the weed. Somebody donated some weed. I guess I don't know. Weed doesn't really keep that long, so it probably wasn't even smokable at the time somebody got a hold of it. Anyway, weed accidentally donated to a New Zealand charity shop. This is abnews.com. Charlotte Graham McClay in Wellington, New Zealand. Man, we did a story about Waterloo. Now we're doing a story about Wellington. That's interesting, right? 2 teenagers mistakenly left a knapsack containing marijuana and cash at a donation area outside of New Zealand charity shop. They returned in a panic to retrieve the bag, police said Monday. A volunteer at the store noticed a pungent aroma. Is this skunk in there? Before opening the knapsack and finding plastic bags. A whole ounce and a half. That's really not that much. And 3,700 New Zealand dollars in banknotes. New Zealand police said in a statement. Using marijuana recreationally selling drug are illegal. Actually, recreationally is illegal. That's absurd. Some medical use is allowed. Doctor prescription. They weren't selling it. They gave it away. So you can't arrest them for that. And they weren't using it. So you can't arrest them for that. So what the hell are you arresting them for? Police said the episode happened in February 18th.
The stoner lawyer. Dun dun dun.
No shit. What a bunch of horse shit. I hope they didn't arrest them. That would be complete bullshit. First of all, they lost their weed. That's punishment enough, right? Ounce and a half weed ain't nothing you just fucking get over. You know, a spokesperson would give more details of the shop's location and wouldn't give more details of the shop's location to protect staff. Like the staff's gonna get death threats from a bunch of stoners. I'll give you a death threat, but I don't really care that much. A boy and a girl had left a knapsack outside the shop as they waited for their vehicle to be serviced at a nearby workshop, the police statement said. Officers were called after the agitated teens returned to the store.
Oh, they're teenagers, so that might be illegal.
Oh my God. Oh no, they had an air pistol, which those under 18 can't possess. So a license, adult supervision, a police scanner, and more cash in a teen's card. It's not illegal to have a police scanner in New Zealand, but distribute acting information is. How are they distributing and acting on information? How you have to actually prove they were doing that. Just possessing it's not a crime. Actually, nothing in this is actually a crime. They're under 18.
Well, I think them being under 8 isn't under 18 a crime. Owning, possessing a drug as an under 18, is that not a crime?
Minors with a crime. You can't give them an adult criminal record if they're not adult. Police didn't
some
divulge
people
the details of any charge. They didn't say they charged them with anything. Anyway, police didn't divulge the details about any charges the arrested teens faced or if they'd appeared in court. Were they arrested for them if they weren't any charges? New Zealand has stricter rules about what can be reported from cases before youth court, where cases of alleged offenders younger than 17 again are usually heard. I'm still looking for the law they broke. Don't appear to have broken any law. Leaving something behind isn't a law, breaking the law. Owning a pistol? Who says they own it? Who says they put it in there? They left maybe somebody else put it in there. I mean, seriously, circumstantial evidence, that's all it is. It's really just all it is.
I mean, it sounds like a drop point, and if 20 people are using the drop point, you can't say who owns all that stuff, right?
Right. And again, don't get high and then go carrying around $2,700 in a backpack. That's not a good plan. You're going to probably lose it.
I would be so
you're gonna
paranoid.
Put it down and go, fuck. Seriously, I've gotten high, put my phone down and walked 20 feet away and where's my phone? Oh shit, there's my phone over there. Right? Yeah. Like, you can get high later. Okay, anyway, there's your funny little story about
there's our
donating, but not really donating. To me, the shop that took in the donation, they're the ones that stole their money. They weren't even donating. These guys stole their freaking weed and their money. By golly, I would fire charges against them. Hey, that's my stuff. You can't keep it. I don't know.
Yeah, prove I made all that money selling drugs. It's circumstantial evidence for sure. I'm not a lawyer, but it sounds like very circumstantial evidence.
Circumstantial evidence and no crime. There was no. Show me evidence of a crime. Who was hurt in this crime? Show me the victim. Where's the victim of this crime? Where is he? Her?
The state.
Him? Is a child hurt? Is there somebody bleeding somewhere? It's not a crime. Leave these kids alone.
Well, here's my hypothetical. Right? My hypothetical is, oh my God, what if countries just all made weed legal? Got taxes off of selling weed, and then none of this shit would be wasting police's time, you know? They could be going...
Sugar.
Yeah. Doing something else.
Sugar way more deadly.
Investigating something else.
Sugar is way more addictive, way more unhealthy than weed. Weed does not cause anything unless you just smoke it so much that your lungs don't work.
The only problem with weed is that you smoke it. There's way different ways to do it. I don't care if you do drugs. I just don't want people smoking because it's just bad for your lungs. Vaping and smoking very bad for your lungs.
It ain't like tobacco. It ain't like tobacco smoke because tobacco smoke is just all cellulose you're smoking and Marijuana is the flower. It's the sex organs you're smoking. You're not smoking the leaf. The leaf doesn't give you anything. All right, so next story.
Yeah, but I'm just saying in
We're gonna talk
general,
about
right? Like if
variant.
you're gonna smoke, don't. There's other ways to get high. Basically.
We got stories. We got stories about carrying luggage. We have stories about carrying weed. Now we got stories about carrying your wife. This is a Finnish from Finland. Right. Think what's that big city in Finland again?
The capital, you mean? Helsinki?
Yeah. Helsinki, there you go. Think Helsinki, there you go. This is Finland, although the byline says London, because the race took place in London. And this is from AP News. No author. It says a 6-minute read, and right under that it says 3 to 4 minutes. So I don't know. Some recalibration needs to be done.
Depends how fast and slow you are, I guess.
To have and to hold took on a new meaning for about 24 couples who put their relationships to test on a grassy hill in southern England. Wives and girlfriends clung for dear life as their partners carried them up and down a hillside for the UK wife carrying race, one of the country's quirkiest annual sporting events. On Sunday, Timu Tuvinen and Jata Leinonen from Finland were crowned the winners. Well, they're not even married, apparently, right? They're just mates. Crowned the winners at 1 minute and 45 seconds.
Not a lot of country take the
Their
last
prize,
names,
a
actually.
barrel of local ale. Well, it said wives and girlfriends. It didn't say exclusively wives. The awkward foot race in Dorking, Surrey. Dorking. I
love British place names. Yeah.
I love the names of places. Dorking, Surrey is said to have inspired by a 19th century Finnish legend about a gang that pillages villagers and steals women. Oh, well, reenacting that, I guess. The AP correspondent actually wrote this is Charles de Ledesma. So I don't know why he's not on the title of on the headline. These days, the emphasis on lighthearted fun. Silly costumes are encouraged. The racers can be males or females carrying anyone over 18 and weighing less than 50 kilograms. Those under that weight need to wear a rucksack filled with flour or water to bring them to the minimum weight. Yeah, you can't just have, I married a girl, she's a dwarf, and she's 3 feet tall. And carry 2 of them.
She's a stick, yeah.
Yeah.
Or just somebody in general, right? Like, I brought somebody who's literally underweight, yeah.
You don't have to carry your own wife. It could be someone else's, or a mate, or a girlfriend, or a boyfriend, or a sister, or brother. They just got to weigh 110 pounds, at least. Couples can choose their carrying technique, though most contestants favor the traditional Estonian hold, where the wife hangs upside down on the carrier's back with a leg crossed in front of his face. I would do the fireman's carry. The fireman's carry.
I think a lot of people. I think
your shoulder.
That seems kind of sexual a little bit, don't you think?
Yeah, the fireman's carry is the only way to do this. Bouncing on the abdomen shit ain't good for anybody.
No.
Nah. Contestants race up a gently sloping hillside and back down, clearing obstacles like rows of hay bales and having buckets of water thrown at them for good measure. The course is 380 meters, or 3 football fields long, a long way under the circumstances, organizers noted. While still niche, the Scandinavian sport has a following in the UK, United States, Australia, Poland, and other countries. The race in England first started in 2008. The fastest British couple, because we got to give them a participation trophy, right? Because it's their contest. Edwin Nash and Catherine Knight, who came just 4 seconds behind the winners, will represent the UK at the World Wife Carrying Championships in Finland in July. And I can't wait. I'm gonna get your tickets now. There's your story. I guess you got a hypo.
Yeah. My hypothetical about that would be, I wonder if there's ever going to be a husband carrying competition.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. He just has to weigh.
Yeah, technically, right? You can carry anybody with a fireman's hold, for example.
Right.
That's the whole point of it.
It can be a man carrying a woman carrying a man. It can be a man carrying a man. It doesn't even matter. It's just the weight limits. That's all that really matters.
Which is nice. We love inclusivity here.
weight minimum, I should say.
Isn't it actually?
Yeah, right.
This is more of a non sequitur, but isn't it crazy that the Olympics have to argue about who's allowed to go in what sport, and over here the wife carrying competition is like, hey, just carry somebody over 110 pounds. We don't give a shit. Why can't the Olympics be like the wife carrying competition?
Not to go off on a non sequitur tangent, but the people that complain the most about transgenders in women's sports are people that never watch women's sports ever.
Yeah,
ever.
Yeah.
They don't care. They're not interested. They just want to fucking get mad about something.
They're bored with their life, 100%.
They don't care. They absolutely don't even watch women's sports. I bet you they couldn't name anybody in the WNBA. Right? So maybe Caitlin Clark, and that was it.
Yeah, right.
Anywho, let's have another story or another spin. That's my 2 stories.
Yeah, let's get a spin over here for my wacky and weird news.
Oh, I didn't give you any applause here. Sorry about that. I was sleeping.
Give me an alliteration, I can say it, alliteration headline for these next 2 stories. Oh my god. This first story is coming out of Brazil. Actually, both my stories about sports brawls. This is on AP News. Brawls.
Oh,
this is from AP News. Oh wait, this is an old story. Why is it telling me it now? Oh no, the photo was from an old story. Never mind. This is reported from March 9th from Belo Horizonte by, I guess just by AP News. Yeah, it doesn't show who's actually reporting the story. 23 players are shown a red card as a lengthy brawl requiring the intervention of military police marred the final seconds of a Brazilian football match between Cruzeiro, Atlético, and I got this. I'm not very good at my Portuguese. Atlético Mineiro. Former Brazil forward Hulk was among the players sent off following the violence that lasted more than... It's so funny, yeah. A guy named Hulk. Following the violence that lasted more than a minute and spread from one end of the field towards the other, as substitutes, members of the coaching staff, and security also weighed in on the fight. We need to acknowledge our mistake and learn from them, Hulk wrote on Instagram on the 9th of March. What happened yesterday does not represent the values that soccer should embody. Rivalry is part of the sport, but respect must always prevail over any emotion. It was sparked by a challenge by Cruzeiro midfielder Christian on Atletico goalkeeper Everson, responded by rugby tackling his opponent to the ground and dropping both knees into his head. That's a normal reaction to a goalkeeper. That led to a mass fight as players from both teams piled in. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't have done a knee slam on their head, punching and kicking each other, and footage shared across social media. Hulk, who plays for Atletico, was seen punching an opponent on the back of the head and then getting kicked in the chest. I apologize to everyone who was in the stadium.
Is that part of soccer?
Yeah, I guess so. To those who watch it on television, and especially to children who look up to football, what we saw on the pitch is not an example we want to set, Hulk added. According to statistics provided by the teams, Cruzeiro had 12 players sent off, and Atletico had 11. So I guess they win, because they had one less player sent off to the field. In the brawl, they won the brawl. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Cruzeiro wound up winning 1-0 in
always play each other.
Yeah, Campeonato Mineiro final to become state champion in the Minas Gerais. And I apologize for how I pronounced all of that Brazilian Portuguese. Congratulations, I guess. Yeah, they won the match. It looks like they won the match. They won the brawl. No, sorry. Let me start it again. Cruzeiro lost. Cruzeiro lost the brawl. No, I just said 1-0. Cruzeiro won the match, even though they lost the brawl. And they went on to become the champion of the Minas Gerais. I don't know how to say that word. I've never seen that word in my life.
It's probably some Portuguese word, right?
Yeah, for sure. But I hope you have an alliteration for that.
Brasilia babies brawl because boredom. How's that? Or my alternate is goalie gets gut gored. Because you say you got kicked in the stomach, right?
Yeah, that
And
was
there's
great.
spikes too.
I almost spit my water
There's
out. I was
spikes in
drinking
those
some
fucking
water.
shoes. There's spikes in those shoes. Don't be kicking people's soccer shoes, you psychotic motherfuckers.
All right, my next
What's wrong
brawl.
with people? It's a game.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a game.
It's
a
supposed to be-
freaking game.
It's a war, I guess. My next
It's
brawling
actually-
story in sports is from one of the sports that's most famous for brawls.
Oh, by the way,
Hockey.
Brazil, I was watching them play baseball the other day. They suck at baseball. Holy crap. Why do you even have a team? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm,
My next
I'm
story
in
is
batting practice. It
my
looked
next
like,
story
right?
is about hockey, which
Hockey,
is famous
alright.
for having brawls, but this was a way longer than 1 minute fight. I think this is from Garrett Barry on CTV News out of Newfoundland and Labrador. So this is in Canada,
Newfoundland.
of course. Sorry, you're right.
Newfoundland, not
Newfoundland.
Newfoundland.
I knew
I guess
when I
St.
found the
Juan.
land. This is from St. John's, Newfoundland. Officials from a Journey Hockey League in Newfoundland and Labrador say severe suspensions are coming after a chaotic, fight-filled playoff game that was shut down after constant ejections. Referees handed out 20 fighting majors. I guess it's like a red card for NHL. I don't know anything about NHL, so somebody's gonna have to tell me what a
No,
fighting
they just
major
kick you in the
is.
penalty box. They give you a major penalty is what they do. They give you a
Oh,
5-minute fighting penalty.
But they got a
Let's sit in the penalty
major
box.
penalty for fighting. Yeah, that's what it means. Okay, fighting
A lot of
majors.
people pelt you with things in a penalty box. If you're
And
in a
nearly
road team, they just pelt you with stuff. Yeah.
And that also nearly 600 penalty minutes. So that's how many minutes people were in the penalty box, according to the game's statistics. In a junior hockey game played Saturday in St. John, it wasn't even like the NHL. It was a junior hockey game. It was like people who might become
Wow.
NHL players. The game was abandoned minutes into the third period when teams ran out of eligible players left on the bench. There's no one else to play. Whoops. And then there's a Instagram post that says bloodbath in the Sigel. Huge fights in Junior B playoff game between Southern Shore and St. John's. It's because it became very unfortunate. Disgusting for us as a league, Jim Hare, president of the St. John's Junior Hockey League, said today on the 11th of March. It's a bit of a black guy, I guess, if you want to call it that, the league, he added. It happened and now we got to deal with that. Saturday's game, which would have been the 7th of March, between the St. John Junior Caps and the Southern Shore Junior Breakers, was the third in best of 5 series. The Caps were heavy favorites, having won the previous 2 playoff matches and 25 of their 28 games this season. Oh, only 3 losses in the whole season is pretty good. Penalties started early in the game. Just moments after the Breakers scored the first goal, 2 players were ejected after a fight less than 2 minutes into the first period. By the end of the night, all 4 goaltenders dressed for the game were ejected. A total of 572 penalty minutes were given over the course of the game. This is the first I can remember of having such an incident like this occur, Hare said. So it looks like the St. John's team had 324 minutes in the pen, and the Caps had 248 minutes in the pen. There were 18 shots by the St. John's team and 37 shots by the Caps. The Junior Caps won the match.
Shots to the head or shots at the goal?
Shots at the goal, so 37 to 18, basically. Attempted shots, not all of them were successful.
Body blow.
The Junior Caps won the match, leading 5-2 at the time the game was abandoned, which they were favored to win, right?
Yeah. What?
Oh, sorry, I was getting
goals.
Sorry, I got it confused. The Southern Shore Junior Breakers. The Junior Breakers had 324. The St. John's Caps had 248 minutes, and then 18 by the Shore, 37 by the Caps. Okay, I got confused with the name of the teams already. That's how bad I am at sports. But the Caps, who I think were favored to win, won anyways. Yeah, the Caps were heavy favorites, and they still won even after the game was abandoned. They are moving to the league semifinals, but will be without some players who I think are kicked out of the league for the rest of the year. I think they got, you're out. Yeah. You're out for 5 games or something. Yeah.
These minor leagues have a lot of thugs in them. They just have a lot of thugs.
Hare said suspensions will be delivered shortly to the Caps. Suspensions will also be leveled against the Breakers players who will serve them next season or in other NL regulated leagues. So since they're out of the league, they can't get really suspended, but Next year, they'll be suspended. We have minimum suspension guidelines that we basically follow. And as a league, we can impose a greater penalty if we feel it suits the situation, Hare said. The league features players between the age of 16 and 21. Only 8 teams compete in the league, and Hare said that the most part, the players know each other from previous teams or competitions. Somebody slept someone's girlfriend or boyfriend, maybe. The battle hard at nightmare when the game is on, and the next day they're having a pop or whatever in university. They're the best of friends again, he said. So I guess the emotions were heated and they just started fighting each other on the rink. A coach for the Junior Caps told CTV News that the team was focused on their pending playoff series and wouldn't make a comment on the incident. The Junior Breakers similarly did not reply to CTV News. Hare said he's been tied up with phone calls with parents and league officials Saturday's game. He wants the Newfoundland and Labrador hockey community to know that the game's behavior will not be tolerated. We take this seriously, he said. Very seriously. I hope we don't see it again. So there's some wacky, not even professional players going at it in the rink. 600 minutes of penalty time together for both teams, and was it worth it? No, because they still lost. I guess they still lost against the favorite team.
The other day I went to a fight and a hockey game broke out. The old joke, right? My headline should read, I got 2 different headlines. The headline should read either Maritime Morons. Maritimes is where Newfoundland is. That's the section of Canada. Maritime Morons mauling mostly mitigated. Or the other alternate headline is Hockey Halfwits Hit Heads.
I mean, it's a junior game. But maybe that's why it even happened, right? Because they're barely adults. They're barely adults.
Yeah,
some of them are barely
leagues.
Adults. So.
The hockey minor leagues, unfortunately, for if you're a minor league hockey player on the way up, the hockey minor leagues is filled with people who cannot play in the NHL because they've been banned for violence. So that's what you get in the minor leagues.
But this is the junior league.
They get booted out of the minor leagues.
And
they have to nearly kill somebody to be banned from the minor leagues, but they do get banned eventually from, hey, you don't even play hockey. You just go out there and bust heads. What are you? So, yeah. There's people that are just thugs. They can't even play. They can skate. They can stay on their feet, but they're just mostly out there to put people in the hospital. All right, so let's have have a spin, I guess. That was my little...
Ready for a segue, Will.
Okay, I get no applause?
I gave you applause. You didn't hear it because you're too busy talking over it, I think.
Always hear everything, so that's always a problem. Okay, go ahead.
I've got a haiku for your stories.
Okay, only one story.
Good morning, Desi, and I hope you're having a good, wacky, and weird Wednesday.
Only one more story. I'm in this sweat box. I did send you a video, and
oh yeah, good point. I should check that out.
Okay, so this day in history thing. No, we're doing this. We're doing a thing about a guy who bought a house. This is a really interesting story. This is Inforum.com. Tracy Biggs and Kevin Whaleband. How a Fargo man found a family treasure hidden in the floorboards. Yeah.
Not the infamous Fargo.
Yeah, the one and only Fargo in North Dakota.
Wow.
The first thing you notice when you walk into Casey and Patsy's Chapman. Hey, that's the same last name as Johnny Appleseed. I wonder if they're related. Anyway, you walk into Casey and Patsy Chapman's beautiful home on 8th Street in South and Fargo is the sound. The steady thump of hammers coming from the second floor where contractors are turning 2 small bedrooms into one. More evidence of the remodel is scattered below. Clothes once hanging in closets now hang on racks throughout the dining room. Golden Retriever Frank and miniature dachshund Norman weave between them, having fun with the ordinary chaos of renovation. But what happened in this house last week is far from ordinary. It started when a workman pulled up a floorboard and discovered the front page of the Fargo Forum from Fargo Forum. Sorry, it's a newspaper. The Fargo Forum from October 6, 1946. The Chapman said the contractor simply handed him the board with this 2 torn pieces and said, "This is kind of neat. You might like this." I gingerly lifted it off the nails and set it down, Chapman said. When he laid the pieces side by side, he realized he wasn't just looking at news of the day. He was looking at his mother. That's right. There's a picture here that doesn't show up. The photograph froze one moment from the fall of 1946. Amid news of a meat shortage, polio cases, and predictions of possible depression in 1947, there was something happier. A lineup of young women smiling as candidates for North Dakota Agricultural College's homecoming queen, now NDSU, our North Dakota State University. I looked and saw homecoming candidates and looked at the year and then saw what certainly was my mother. He still needed confirmation, so he looked at the caption and saw his name. Saw the name Marty Anderson. That was her name. And I knew that I had actually found my mother in the floor of our house. Not technically.
Of the new house. Yeah, that would be crazy. Mom, what are you doing down there?
Yeah, this is a renovated old house being renovated. I thought, okay, my mother had nothing to do with this house, he said, but there's a bedroom in our house that we opened the floor, and all of a sudden there's one of my mom's great moments. At 75, Chapman, an attorney and part-time pastor, is still clearly proud of a woman staring back at them from the yellowed pages of a nearly 80-year-old newspaper. Mom was a very unique, independent type of person, Chapman said. She was listed as an independent candidate, not affiliated with a sorority, in a homecoming race dominated by Greek sororities. The distinction mattered. She went on to become NDAC's homecoming queen that year. The first independent candidate to do so in the school's history. The Forum interviewed Marty about it in 2013. As Marty was getting that crown placed on her head a few miles north, residents at 1210 8th Street South were likely remodeling that 17-year-old house. Contractors may have needed just a fraction of an inch to level the floor, the thickness of a newspaper's page. The paper might also have been used to dampen the sound of the wood. Perhaps they grabbed a copy of that day's newspaper from the living room downstairs, or recovered yesterday's paper from the kitchen garbage can. Either way, it did the trick for 8 decades. Families lived in the house, footsteps across the room above it. Generations of kids rode bikes down 8th Street. 80 years of blizzards, heat waves, floods, droughts came and went. Saplings in the yard grew as tall as life moved on. All the while, like a time machine even, like a time warp, it was stuck on the floor, capturing that day in 1946. All the while, the newspaper stayed tucked beneath the floor, and the homecoming queen, smiling with pages, lived in a full life. Marty met her future husband, Dan Chapman, at NDSU. They married and had 3 children, including Casey. She taught home economics, was active members of the Presbyterian Church. She's a wonderful lady, Chapman said. She died in 2014 before Chapman and his wife, Patsy, relocated from Bismarck to Fargo to begin looking for a home. Yet, in a way, he said, it feels like she's here. After looking at a few houses, this one stood apart. When we walked in the door of this house, this was the one. We didn't look for another house after this. Looking back now, discovery feels anything but random. The odds of this happening are astronomical.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's really hard to calculate the odds. I wouldn't say they're astronomical because, wow, there's so many variables, right? There's your story. I only got one story, so it should be easy enough to write one.
Oh, really? I thought it was going to be way longer.
That one said 9 to 11 minutes. I wasn't about to... I know I didn't take that long to read it. Maybe it did. I don't know. All right, there's your story. Did you get a haiku, or do you want me to carry on about it?
I'm going.
All righty.
Here we go. Haiku.
Here we
Whispers from below. Dusty secrets in the wood. Mom's warm smile appears. I'm assuming she was smiling in the photo. Since she was up for homecoming queen. Yeah.
She was the only one
recognize
not in
my
a
mom's
sorority.
warm smile at any time. That's what he was thinking. That's definitely my mom.
Well, she must have had a lot of charisma because she was the only one not in a sorority that was in the homecoming queen race, and she won. So she had no sorority support at all. She just had
lucky guy.
Whoever. All right, next spin.
Our next spin for my culture news, which is 2 stories because both of them are quite short. Segway, go! Okay. It's gonna be... It'll end on remind me of a song. Would you like a reroll?
No, go ahead.
Alright, this first story is gonna be an easy thing to remind you of a song. Rihanna! Anybody who hasn't heard, Rihanna's house got shot up, I think, over the weekend. We haven't really talked about it on the show, but somebody is being charged, and that's the weirdness of this, you know. Why would anybody want to kill Rihanna? but there's weird people out there. This is by David Marquand on Euronews Culture. Ivana Lizette Ortiz allegedly fired 10 shots with a semi-automatic firearm into Rihanna's Beverly Hills home while the pop superstar and her family were inside. By the way, she has children. I think 1 or 2 children. So, fuck this hoe for trying to kill Rihanna and her children. She could get into life in prison if convicted on all charges. Yeah, I mean, semi-automatic firearm. A 35-year-old Florida woman had been charged with attempted murder after she allegedly fired shots at the Beverly Hills home of the American superstar Rihanna on Sunday. It was over the weekend. Sunday would have been the 8th of March. Ivana Lizette Ortiz has been charged with 1 count of attempted murder, 10 counts of assault on a person with a semi-automatic firearm, because she shot 10 shots, so each bullet is considered a charge, and 3 counts of shooting at an uninhabited dwelling, as in she knew there was somebody's home. So that's also a charge, right? You knew someone was home, you did it 10 times, and you can only assume you're trying to murder somebody, right? If you shoot 10 bullets into someone's house. All 14 counts against her are felonies. Officials have said no one was injured during the shooting, luckily. Even if Los Angeles District Attorney Nathan Hockham said Rihanna, her partner A$AP Rocky, and their 3 children and Rihanna's mother were at the property at the time. Rihanna's mom was there too. Like a whole generation of people were in the house, and this woman's like, I'm gonna shoot it up. The motive of the shooting remains unclear. I'm sure we'll hear about it in the case. Like, why the fuck did you do this? Unclear of mind. She's from Florida. She had to go all the way to Hollywood to shoot Rihanna's house.
Woman. No doubt.
Yeah. Sniffing the bath salts or some shit. Public records show Ortiz's most recent address was in Orlando, so she's from Florida, and that she has been a licensed speech pathologist for more than a decade. Does she know this woman? Do they have a relationship, or is she just obsessed with Rihanna? Her arraignment was postponed until 25th of March, so we're not going to get any updates on this case until the 25th. And she was ordered to be held in jail on a 1.8 million bail. Yeah, that sounds about right. She could get life in prison. I got a feeling she don't have all charges. No, I have a feeling she doesn't.
Yeah, she's not getting.
She got on the Greyhound to get to Rihanna's house, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, so, but that's all the story. That's why I'm covering 2 stories, because that's the whole story for now. It happened. She's been charged with 14 counts of felonies, and she's gonna get life in prison. I don't know what her defense is gonna be. Insanity.
Yeah, she's gonna be in there until she's a little old lady, and she won't ever be able to buy a gun again.
Yeah.
Not legally. Song it reminds me of is Janie's Got a Gun. No, her name is not Janie.
You know, Ivana has a gun.
Ivana, that's scary. That's Donald Trump's now dead ex-wife, Ivana, right? The one that fell down the stairs was.
Oh yeah,
fell down the stairs.
Yeah.
Fell down the stairs, even though she was rich and had an elevator. And on a wheelchair, she took the stairs. Sure. Okay. Anyway.
Ivana's got a gun.
Ivana's got a wheelchair and got pushed down the stairs.
Let me give you
next story. Another song.
I'm being slow on the. Poor lady is gonna go to prison forever. Next story.
That's just stupid. For what? What is she thinking? Right? Just.
I'm sure that some sort of psychosis will be given as a reason.
She'll get some kind of psychological.
I wouldn't say this weird or wacky news, but I do always find it kind of wacky when we release stuff from dead artists, right? So depending on why or who. George Michael. They found some long lost live film and live album that has never been released, so they're re-releasing it. The George Michael The Faith Tour will see a global cinema release alongside previously unheard music from his Wham! And solo discographies. This is by Owen Myers on The Guardian. A long-lost film centered on George Michael's landmark 1988 Faith Tour is set for cinema release later this year, in addition to a new album of previously unheard live performances. My question is, who's getting the money? George Michael The Faith Tour is being lined up for a global big screen rollout with footage taken from a previously unseen 14-camera shoot of Michael's performance at the Paris Bercy Arena in 1988. I wasn't alive back then. A press release bills the project as a tour de force in archival filmmaking, celebrating Michael's ambition and artistry as at its peak. The film will be directed by Singer's longtime collaborator Andy Morahan and David Austin. The project comes from George Michael Entertainment and Mercury Studios, with release date and distribution details yet to be revealed. So I guess his estate is going to make the money from this. The film will be presented alongside a new short film from the photographer Mary McCarthy, which includes voiceover from previously unheard Michael interview, as well as behind-the-scenes footage of Michael's iconic Faith video by American photographer Herb Ritz. The 18-track live album titled The Faith Tour is also on the way and will feature previously unreleased Wham recordings as well as Michael's solo material. Who was in Wham with Michael? I can't remember their name, but maybe they're going to get some of the royalties.
Andrew Ridgeley.
Yeah, maybe he'll get some.
Andrew Ridgeley.
Michael's
Maybe.
Faith album is widely regarded as one of the defining pop albums of the 1980s, with more than 25 million in global sales and 4 U.S. #1 singles, including Faith, Father Figure, One More Try, and Monkey. Writing in The Guardian, Alec McKee described the album as Michael's masterpiece. Faith, the album, was a classic pop. It found Michael moving into the Brian Wilson Pet Sounds territory, adding that the artist co-produced and wrote all the songs, played most of the instruments, and sang backing vocals and harmonies. Back when pop stars also made the music that they performed. Previously, Morahan and Austin directed the 2017 documentary George Michael Freedom, which spotlighted the singer's initial hunger for fame, as well as his subsequent disillusionment with the music industry. Michael was putting the finishing touches on the documentary before his death in 2016. Michael has rarely been far from the public consciousness or the charts since his death. I mean, he's still on the Netherlands' top Christmas songs list, at least top 50. This Christmas, I gave you my heart. In 2017, the Michael estate teamed with legendary producer Nile Rodgers to release a new remix version of his 1990 B-side, Fantasy. In 2019, the festive rom-com Last Christmas, which is the name of his famous single, centered on Michael and the Wham songs, with a soundtrack that included the singer's previously unheard solo track, This Is How We Want You to Get High. Wham's song Last Christmas has become a seasonal perennial and was the UK Christmas #1 in 23 and 24. In 25, it was unseated by Kylie Minogue's new festive single, Xmas. Meanwhile, Michael's classic single Father Figure trended on TikTok last year after his feature in the steamy Nicole Kidman film Baby Girl. This month, the art book publisher Rizzoli will publish Celebrating George, 3 decades of George Michael through the lens, a coffee table book which includes many unseen images of Michael throughout his career. Why is this happening? Is it like a history thing for him or something? I'm not really sure. It feels kind of just random. I guess it's like 10-year anniversary of his death, like they did with David Bowie, right? 10-year anniversary of his death. You know, he died in 2016. It's 2026 now, so they're just releasing some stuff to be like, let's remember him this year. I think that's probably it.
Yeah, I would just chalk it up to some record company trying to cash in. I would just.
That's why I'm covering this in the Wacky Weird News, because I'm like, whenever I see this stuff, I'm like, somebody's trying to make money off of it.
That's what I say about the new Beatles songs with John Lennon. That's how I say about the new Beatles songs with John Lennon. Yeah, they're fine, but you know they never would have made it on a Beatles album because they really aren't that good. You know, they're just songs. You know, it's like, seriously, this wouldn't have made the cut on a Beatles album. Come on, folks. Anyway, sorry.
No, that's at the end of the story, so you can give me your...
No, that is it. Oh, the song it reminds me of then would be Monkey by George Michael, which is a song, as we know, about... Any song that mentions monkey is all about addiction. So,
Oh, yeah, right.
Which, again, had an addiction problem, so there you go. George Michael and Monkey, one of your more...
Maybe I'll listen to George Michael today.
There you go.
I always try to listen to new artists and stuff after it remind me of the song. Of course, whenever we mention Boston, I have to listen to Boston. that's my rule. If we mention
Don't forget. Oh, Boston. No, we didn't cover this news. Maybe we'll cover it. The Boston lead singer died, which I didn't realize they had replaced the old lead singer. I didn't even know Boston was a band anymore. Like, they haven't released anything of any quality since 1984. I didn't know they were a band. But apparently, The lead singer that replaced Brad Delp, who I'd never heard of, just died of the same thing Brad Delp died of 10 years ago. He said both died of brain cancer. But I've never heard of the guy, so it's
not a good one.
I didn't even know Boston was. Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea.
I do know their band, their drummers, Boston's drummer, the guy who replaced the original drummer, anyway. Like after they reformed or whatever. The drummer's daughter's married to The Rock. I know that. That's all I know about Boston right now.
That's fun.
Boston was basically one guy. I'm sorry, it was just one guy, Tom Schultz. That was it. That was one guy, and we got a decent singer and just added some musicians.
It's like me with Pearl Jam. I'm like, Pearl Jam's still going, but I listen to their new albums and like,
Yeah.
Good for them, you know. Yeah.
Boston is the only band whose first album was their greatest hits album. They didn't have to release another album.
Talk about releasing your magnum opus right there, your first album.
The entire world waited for their second album, and it sounded exactly like the first album. Okay, so you got a formula, and we're
Boston. What were you expecting?
I was like, that's it then. Boston got nothing else. They're a one-trick pony. So that's kind of a shame about the whole band. They never really progressed beyond that one sound. This day in history spin, I guess, right?
Associate is our segue, so take it away in this day in history.
Okay. Torquato Tasso. It says that. Associate, huh? All right. Torquato Tasso, one of the greatest Italian poets of the late Renaissance, was born in Sorrento in the Kingdom of Naples on this day in 1544. Jumping ahead to 1811, in Arnold, Nottingham, textile workers staged the first major Luddite riot in England, breaking the machinery that was causing their displacement. The protest launched a movement that spread throughout the country. I kind of think that's what we do to all the data centers that are springing up, right?
Yeah.
Get rid of them damn things.
Good job replacing us when you can't fix it, assholes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I of course I did AI search. I just asked AI, how many jobs does a typical data center provide? It said 15 to 20 full-time jobs after it's built, right? Full-time jobs building it for construction, but once it's built, 15 to 20. Not exactly a boost to your economy, I don't think.
Or your local
1888,
town.
a weather storm. Yeah, of course, billionaires are just buying up farmland and putting it on farmland. They don't need a county proposal for that. I don't think, in a lot of places. Plus, they can just pay off politicians. They're billionaires. In 1888, a winter storm began in the Atlantic coast of the United States, ultimately blanketing New York City with 22 inches of rain. Snow. I'm sorry, rain would be ridiculous, right? Of snow in other areas with 50 inches. 50 inches of snow.
50 inches?
50 inches of snow. Use the 1 to 10 ratio. It's basically 5 inches of rain, which is a lot of damn rain, by the way. The Great Blizzard of 1888, as it became known, killed more than 400 people and caused widespread property damage. Back then, you basically just had a coal furnace. And this is March, man. People thought, hey, spring's here. Wrong. 1916, Harold Wilson, who led the Labor Party to victory in 4 general elections, was born.
Wilson!
Taxman, Mr. Wilson. Yeah, Taxman. No, he was the Labor Party guy. He wasn't the conservative.
Yeah, Wilson was the guy who was like, yeah, let's appease. No, I'm thinking of a different guy. Never mind. I'm thinking of.
You're thinking of Chamberlain way before
Chamberlain.
World War II. This is a guy who was born in 1915.
Wilson is the only.
He was
according to the Crown,
in 1940.
right?
He wasn't in charge of anything.
According to the Crown, right, which is
Army.
that Netflix show about the Queen, which may or may not be true, right?
You're
the only Labor Prime Minister that got along with the Queen, Wilson, supposedly, according to the show.
Yeah, well, anyway, Wilson was the prime minister from 64 to 70. That's why he was name checked in the Taxman song, right? Taxman, Mr. Wilson. Don't forget, they name checked Edwin Heath too, who was the conservative. Taxman, Mr. Heath. They weren't playing favorites. They were saying, "All you assholes, you taxing us 90%." 95%. That's why George Harrison wrote that. They had an artist tax in England. If you're an artist and you made any money, 95% went to taxes. That's what George Harrison was bitching about. 95%. Why do I even work? You know? 1918, one of the most devastating pandemics in human history, used the United States, and country reported its first cases of Spanish flu. And just like when we had the pandemic 5-6 years ago, we had a bunch of people living in denial, and that's why it killed so many people. Oh, I don't understand science, therefore I don't practice anything safe. And they all died, and they're not around to tell us about it because they're dead. 100 years ago today, Ralph David Abernathy was born in Linden, Alabama. He was the chief aide of Martin Luther King Jr. during the 1950s and 1960s. So happy 100th birthday to him. 1930, William Howard Taft, the U.S. president, to be buried in Arlington National Cemetery in Arlington, Virginia. I did not know that. I wonder why he was buried there. He weighed something like 370 pounds.
Maybe he actually was in the military?
I don't know. I don't know. He was a gigantic fat guy. I don't think he was in the military. He weighed 380 pounds. I mean, what was he? He might have been a cook in the military. I don't know, but I don't think he was.
Fat shaming Taft? Come on, man.
He was a president. Fat shaming him. They buried, I think his pallbearers, I think he needed 20 pallbearers or something. And they needed wheels and everything. And they probably needed a hole. They dug a hole for his grave and it collapsed the entire eastern seaboard. How about that? He wasn't fat or anything. Anyway, 1941, U.S. Congress passed the Lend-Lease Act, which gave president authority to aid any nation whose defense was believed to be vital to U.S. interests. That's right. They didn't want to start a war, but we joined the war anyway in about, 9 months from then, right? December 7th. Lend-Lease passed, and 9 months we were in, or 8 months, or 9 months later, we were still in the war anyway. So there you go. That didn't take long to pass at all. 1942, during World War II, Allied forces in the Southwest Theater came under the command of U.S. General Douglas MacArthur following this tour of the Bataan Peninsula in the Philippines, one of the worst generals in the history of the United States. Totally exposed. Don't forget, Douglas MacArthur left all of his aircraft out on the freaking tarmac after Pearl Harbor. He left all of them to get destroyed in the Philippines, and they did, because they were just sitting out there to get bombed by the Japanese. So MacArthur was a pilot. He's just an incompetent boob. He did that, I think he did intentionally, to make himself look like a hero. I have no idea what would motivate somebody to do that. 1985, Mikhail Gorbachev succeeded Konstantin Chernenko as leader of the Soviet Union. I think Chernenko died, right? He was very old. I didn't know they put people that are very old. 1990, following a vote in the parliament, Lithuania became the first Soviet republic to declare its independence from the USSR. Ha ha! You're done, USSR. Bye bye. 2004, just 3 days before Spain's general election, a series of 10 bombs were detonated. They were donated too, before they detonated, by Islamic militants in Madrid. The bombs exploded on 4 trains and 3 different rail stations, killing 191 people and injuring some 1,800. Of course, this is the Islamic militants, not the Red Brigade for a change. Reminds me of a song. It reminds me of the song "Spanish Bombs" by the Clash. Not 2006, Michelle Bachelet was sworn into office. She was the first popularly elected South American female president and the first female president of Chile. Michelle Bachelet. 2011, earthquake struck off the northwestern coast of Honshu, Japan, causing widespread damage in the country and triggering a devastating tsunami that we all remember that instigated a major nuclear threat, which continues to this day and will not be a threat the rest of our lives.
Well, to be fair, it was because they were closing that down. It was already being closed down. That takes 30 years to close down a reactor. So.
Yeah, that nuclear reactor is going to be spewing radiation for years and years to come. 2020, the World Health Organization declared that the COVID-19 outbreak was a pandemic. Of course, all the morons ignored that and said, these people are dying from head colds or something.
It's a conspiracy to control us. That's what a lot of people were saying back then.
I still have conversations with idiots that act like that didn't happen. It's like, okay, all the motherfuckers, what did they die of then? What did they die of? They all committed suicide?
Pneumonia. They died of pneumonia.
They all died of... No, they all died of the flu. So, yeah, there was a real dangerous flu. Shouldn't you be concerned about that, morons? Well, China started it. Okay. So what are we afraid of
conspiracy.
So what China started it? Is it? Oh, it's a hoax. What are you worried about China starting it? It's a hoax. Whatever. You can't have the same opinion. The same people have that opinion. They have an opinion that it's harmless and that China caused it. So what's the problem then if it's harmless? I'm so confused by this logic. A Raisin in the Sun debuted in 1959 on Broadway. And the the first African-American 3-act drama. It was written by Lorraine Hansberry, who was 29 years old. She became the first black woman to have a play produced on Broadway. The play, which borrows its title from Langston Hughes' poem Harlem, was instantly successful. Showgoers reveled in its emotional insights and the social messaging. Sadly, Hansberry passed away just 6 years after the debut of her magnum opus, as they call it, in a symphony writing, I guess. Dorothy Gish's birthday today, American actress born March 11th, 1898. Of course, a silent film actress. Massillon, Ohio, or Massillon, and she died in Italy in 1968 at the age of 70. Other birthdays today, Rupert Murdoch, Australian fascist, born in 1931. How the hell is that guy still alive? He's 95. My Lord. Another old relic turning 90. Well, no, he's not around anymore. He's dead. Antonin Scalia, a fascist on the Supreme Court, born in 1936. Douglas Adams, British author, born in 1952. Didier Drogba, Ivorian football player. Ivorian? Ivory Coast? Is that what that means? Must be, right? 1933, Anthony Davis. 1993, Anthony Davis, American basketball player known for the unibrow. And Anthony Davis, born to say 1993. Wow, he's that old already. Holy crap! Anthony Davis, 33. I thought he was still in his 20s. Oh well. I remember when he was drafted. It's just me.
He's the same age as me, basically.
Yeah. Well, he's born to say 1993. Well, you're older. But happy birthday, Anthony Davis. Is he even on Dallas anymore? I think they traded him. Anyway, he won a title for the Lakers. Him and LeBron are on the same team. National Registered Dietitian Nutritionist Day. That's a long damn thing to say. So you got to be registered. None of this unregistered crap.
Yeah, don't
National 311
take
Day.
nutrition advice from me. I'm not registered. You know, that kind of thing.
National 311 Day. I think that's a phone number you call for something. I'm not sure. National Funeral Director and Mortician Recognition Day.
That's right.
Sorry. Recognize the ghoulish guy who takes care of dead people.
There's actually a famous TikToker who's a
and...
woman, actually. So.
Yeah. Well,
way too stereotyped.
It's just a general term. Guy is a girl term anyway. I don't care. Guy.
No, I agree.
Guy.
I agree.
Hey,
guy for me is a gendered.
I see a group
term.
of people. I say, "Hey, you guys," and they all look. It isn't like the girls don't look. Anyway, National Promposal Day. I think that's just ask somebody to the prom. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
National
really
Oatmeal
weird.
Nut Waffles Day.
Heterosexual things. I don't know. Weird heterosexual activities.
Right. National Worship of Tools Day. As you know, take out your pliers and pray to them. Pray to your pliers. Don't forget to pray to your pliers. National Oatmeal Nut Waffles Day, Oatmeal Nut Waffles, and National Johnny Appleseed Day. I'm not sure if it's his birthday. I didn't see his name in the birthday, but his name is John Chapman, the same last name of that guy who bought the house in Fargo.
What the hell is going on? Today is so weird and wacky.
Endlessly fascinating. We had a story about a guy named Chapman and Johnny Appleseed, who, again, I was looking it up, is our fourth cousin. Anyway, there's your stories, your spins, everything, your haiku, limericks, everything for today.
I did a haiku today.
March 11th, 2020. Yeah, I said haiku, limerick stuff. On before apples and oatmeal nut waffles. Nut waffles. What the hell's an oatmeal nut?
That sounds so good. I think it's just oatmeal, you put nuts in it, and then you make a waffle out of it. I love oatmeal, so maybe I'll try that sometime. I don't have a waffle machine,
This picture just looks like it looks like 4 waffles with blueberries stacked, and that's it. So I don't know.
Also, I looked up my associate segue is gonna actually be explaining why Taft got buried in the Arlington. I looked it up. Right, I looked up several different sources.
Okay.
So basically, what it says here on Vocab Dictionary, I don't know why that's my source, but that's my source.
Okay.
He was the only president, or not the only, but he was the first president buried there because of his significant contributions to the nation and his service in important government roles. And I said, oh, what was his important government roles? Well, he was involved in the Spanish-American War in 1898, in which he became the first civilian governor of the Philippines. And then he became Roosevelt's Roosevelt's Secretary of War, And then, of course, he became also president after Roosevelt. So he just did a lot of government stuff, and they were like, you know what? Here's your free slot in Arlington. So there you go. There's your association that explains all of that things.
Don't forget his, I believe
he was
his
actually
brother
handpicked as Roosevelt's successor. So he just did a good job, I guess.
His brother was a Speaker of the House or something too, right? I think, yeah. So he had like connections beyond being president. Although Roosevelt named him vice president and then ran against him later because he didn't like what he did as president.
I think the best thing about Roosevelt is that he was a vigorous trust buster. So we love a trust buster.
Oh, Teddy.
Very antitrust prosecutions. So Taft, you know, he deserves it. That's good enough. He was conservative.
Teddy Roosevelt was a liberal Republican.
Yeah, I'm talking about Taft.
Yeah, but he was a liberal Republican.
I'm talking about Taft.
Taft did opposite of what Roosevelt was.
Yeah, no, I just said even though he aligned himself with more conservative members, he still was a vigorous anti-trust buster and an antitrust prosecutor. So even though he had more conservative values or whatever, he still did not like trusts and monopolies.
But Taft was president in 1912, and Teddy Roosevelt ran against him as a progressive. He started a party called the Bull Moose Party, the Progressive Party, and neither one of them won. Woodrow Wilson won the election, and he was the first Democrat.
And here's another fun fact. Taft set a record for the poorest performance by an incumbent president seeking re-election. He won a mere 8 electoral votes compared with the 88 for Roosevelt and the 435 for Wilson. So there's your fun factoid about him, I guess.
Roosevelt killed his own protege's political future. But at least he got buried in Arlington, huh? Okay, so let's, that was your...
That's my associate, I guess, to explain like that, because you were asking. Like, I did a whole research into it, being like, what the hell is this about? That is a good question. Why did he get buried there?
Let me load
other international days today. There are not any international days today or for the rest of the week until Sunday. So take care of yourselves today. Continue celebrating women and judges, because that was yesterday. So, you know, just do all that. Just celebrate everything. Don't take anything for granted. I think that's the most important thing. It's really sad that we have to have these national days and international UN observances because people aren't people are taking advantage of these things that we have, or the rights we have, the freedoms we have, blah blah blah. So we have to keep on celebrate them to reinforce them. This is Allison here from the Netherlands.
Give me a second here. Don't load my video yet.
That's fine. We're doing the outro. Right. This is Allison here from the Netherlands. Roger from the East Coast of the US as we finish off another Wacky and Weird Wednesday. Don't forget to keep your day wacky and weird, you know, to bring some levity into life. Thank you everyone who's here for the live stream and everyone who's already following and subscribed to us on YouTube. And if you're not subscribed to the Before Coffee podcast channel on YouTube, please do that because we need more subscribers on there. Just tell your family, tell your siblings, tell your neighbor, subscribe to us on there because I think we're entertaining. A lot of people say we are, and that, you know, we're real people.
Hell yeah!
We're not AI, right? We're not AI reporting the news. Yeah, we're not AI voices going pronouncing words wrong because we're human, not because we're robots, okay?
Yeah, I clicked on 5 videos today that are a complete bullshit AI, and I just...
Voice, yeah, I don't want to hear it anymore.
Just stop it. Like,
so,
serious.
Please support the show, and thank you all the Before Coffee supporters on Patreon who are supporting the show monetarily anyways.
Ban AI slop. Ban AI slop. Ban it.
Yeah, support us and say fuck you to AI slop. We will see you tomorrow for Thursday's 13, in which we'll have a list of 13 things, which we'll know what it is tomorrow because we haven't thought about it yet. So make sure you have those notification bell turned on so you get notified when we go live and post a video. And here is our mic drop moment.
Shifting focus, they say love can lead you to do big things in life. Well, we'll get you a story of how love can literally carry you to victory.
I'm
in the hills of Dorking, dozens of competitors gathered for one of Britain's most unusual sporting traditions.
About women
the UK
getting carried
wife-carrying race.
wife's getting
Yes,
carried.
you heard that right. Contestants raced along the 380-meter obstacle course on the Noah,
So that's the
carrying their
Estonian
partners
method
on their
that they were
backs
talking
while
about.
dodging hay bales, splashing through mud, and even enduring attacks from spectators
But I
who were
guess you're
armed
free
with
your
water
hands to
pistols
swing
and
your arms
bullets.
that way.
Despite all of this chaos and
But you
the
still,
cold,
I mean, the girls
one
crossing
couple
their legs
managed
gets-
to literally run away with the title.
If you're carrying them like
Finland's
this, you
Timo
gotta
and
have them
Jata
cross the
were
legs
crowned
like that.
this
Otherwise,
year's
you're holding on
champions,
to their
proving
legs.
that
That's the way it-
teamwork
yeah.
goes
You're
a
wasting
long
your
way.
time holding
They're
on to their
hooking
And
legs.
their
their legs
prize was
around
not a
you.
trophy, but a barrel of
Yeah, that one
I would
was
do the fireman.
terrible.
Remember, this race
Yeah.
makes
She's
participants
falling
carry
off.
their
Yeah.
wife, which essentially
The
could
dumb
be
guy running by
your
the
wife
crowd.
or even one's
I love
husband,
the frog
friend, or a
person.
family
I
member.
wish they had frog slippers
Basically,
on
a
too, though.
partner
That would've
who
been
will
funny.
be carried. But many
I don't know
competitors
why they're not
rely
wearing
on a
helmets.
There you
Why
go.
don't
Now
wear
that's
the
the
Estonian
position.
hold, where the rider hangs
That's a great
upside
way to
down
do it.
on the
I'm
runner's
just
back
saying,
with their legs
if you want to
hooked
break
in
your
front
neck,
of the
that's the way
runner's
to do
face.
it, right?
Oh,
That's
This
the
may
way
look
to do it.
unusual,
Break your neck.
but apparently it's the
Oh,
fastest
no.
way to cross the finish line.
I love the
Turkey contest
69
was
carry.
Nordic
That's
roots and
Superman.
gained
That's
global
something.
fame after World Championships
Superman
began
that
in
looks so
Finland in
super, right?
1996.
Oh my.
The UK
The
version,
69
organized
carry there,
by
huh?
the
Yeah,
Netfield
well, they
Trail
kissed at the end,
Runners,
so.
has been
There you
denied
go.
Oh,
There's our
better kiss it.
winners. Our Finnish couple. Look at
All
them.
right,
They
they got a
their
keg
keg.
of beer.
Party!
Do something else foolish later.
That was great. Yeah. I love how she's like, I know it looks a little bit weird. I know it looks a bit weird.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old
I gotta use the
Records.
bathroom.